Here we go, and we are live. So yesterday, the S&P 500 ends a 3-day losing streak. Big news for Rivian and also for FedEx. More news for Southwest and Whirlpool. And then also, we had a new WTF trade this morning. So we'll talk about this. As you can see, there's a lot going on. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. And today is Wednesday, June 26th. And in this show, we are going to talk to you what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. And yeah, I mean, it seems that overall, Mark, the forward momentum is stalling in the S&P 500. However, we have
Yep.
seen it before, and then a quick dip, and then yay, we're rallying again and breaking through the next level, 5,500, 5,600, 5,700. So is it now time to start looking for a pullback?
I mean, this is normal in a market that is marching higher, right? You see that stair step. It's a perfect stair step. And so are we due for a pullback? Sure, but sometimes this consolidation achieves the same goal, right? It's when you have that parabolic move that just continues at such a rapid pace that things get a little scary, in my opinion, because what goes up so fast can come down just as fast, right?
You're right.
This is orderly. It's orderly.
Yeah. And I mean, we're still waiting for the big report on Friday, the core PCE price index. And we see
Yep.
right now a few signs that maybe the housing prices, the price for shelter, are coming under control. New home sales this morning was released and came in much worse than expected.
Yeah, they came down 619,000 for the month versus the 634. I think that was the estimate. The average, or sorry, median price was 417,400 a home, and this was a little worse than expected.
Yeah. So, and I mean, this is what Powell and the gang, they are expecting it. There's just a huge lag in home prices until the housing market slows down. I mean, this is not enough to worry that there will be a housing crisis. But I mean, it's good that housing prices are slowing down because they were just going up like crazy.
Exactly, and you'd think that in a high interest rate environment that would put a damper on home sales, and instead, because of a lack of supply in the market, homes stayed elevated. Right, there was still buying, and so this would be a positive thing for the economy, especially if rates start to come down.
Yeah. All right, then tomorrow we have the final GDP being reported. Now, this is the final number, and usually there's 3 releases for the GDP, and this is still this is not for the second quarter. This is still for the first quarter, right? Because we're still in the second
Yes.
quarter. So I mean, this is where
Yes.
we have the advanced GDP that is being released. Then we have the preliminary GDP reading, and then we have the final. So, I mean, there's always a lag in between. So it's not
Yep.
that right now, oh my gosh, didn't know that it was this number. I mean, we kind of knew from the previous
Yep.
releases what it is. So it is a red flag report. Will it have the impact? No, it just that it seems that it takes them weeks and months even to make revisions here. We also have unemployment claims. I mean, this is something that recently traders have been paying attention to. So we might see the market moving tomorrow. All of this is being reported 1 hour before the markets open. But then the big one is the core PCE price index on Friday.
Exactly. I mean that's the one that everybody's waiting for. And GDP is important. That's why it's labeled as a red flag, but usually the first reading is the one that's most significant. Although you can get some surprises every now and then, but really it's all about inflation data and core PCE this week.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at a few stocks that are moving like crazy this morning. So, first up, FedEx reporting earnings, and FedEx, really, traders like what FedEx is reporting here, up 15.97%, almost 14.97, so almost 15%. So, what's happening here with FedEx?
They actually showed positive revenue for the first time in a few quarters, and the earnings per share and revenue look good. Now, this is where they did some cost cutting measures, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah. This is the big one. So yeah, it was mainly the cost cutting because if you look at this, no real surprises in terms of earnings and revenue, but saying, hey, whatever we implemented is working, so that's good. This is what everybody is excited about. Then also some news from Rivian, the electric automotive maker, the Ford F-150 killer or whatever they dubbed Rivian, because they also have a truck coming out. And this morning, up 30%. They were up as much as 50% this morning.
Yeah, this is huge. So there was an announcement that the Volkswagen Group is going to basically be, putting in $5 billion, an initial investment of $1 billion, and then the rest coming by 2026. And that would make Rivian cash flow positive and really give the car company a boost.
Yeah, and you see that the stock is down around 49% in 2024. So right now, back to where we were at the end of the year. But yeah, Volkswagen is hoping to catch up in the EV car race. And yeah, it could help Rivian to get out of the slump that they have been in here for quite a while right now, as we can see it. I mean, their IPO price was around 92. They went up as high as if you look at this as 172, I believe, at some point, and now trading around $15. I mean, 15.61 today, and this were yesterday just trading around $12. So I mean, yeah, a massive fall, but right now it looks like a rebound. But if you look at the longer term chart here, you can barely see it. What happened today?
It's been a nasty move lower after the initial enthusiasm. Part of that 50% jump could have been some short sellers getting caught off guard too, because there were 19% shares available were short, so a little bit of a short squeeze for anybody that made a bet to the downside.
Possibly. Whirlpool. Some more news for Whirlpool. Whirlpool jumping this morning, right now pulling back, but still up 11%. Did you see the news here?
Yeah, I saw that Bosch is considering an offer on buying Whirlpool, and Whirlpool jumping on the news.
Yeah, but these are just rumors, right? So this not confirmed. So therefore, also pullback right now. Probably first people denying it and saying, "Ah, no, this is just a rumor." And maybe somebody thought out loud, like, "Hey, what do we do?" And somebody in the meeting said, well, "What do you think about buying Whirlpool?" And then everybody, nah. But this where somebody else said, "Bosch is interested in buying Whirlpool." So I don't know. This it just when you see such a massive reversal, it's kind of like, all right, there were some rumors which are probably not true.
You never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know.
All right, finally, we have Southwest Airlines, LUV, Southwest Airlines. Well, bouncing back, but still down 1%. I mean, earlier this morning, they were down, I think it was around 5% after they cut their forecast and said, yeah, well, it seems that people don't love our LUV, love airline, as much as we thought. And it seems that we will not produce the revenue that we thought we would.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. All right. Since we're already here, let's take a look at our positions and let's see. CSIQ. So yesterday, both you and I, we sold the 1550 puts and made some really good premium on this with the hope of getting assigned and therefore flying another rescue mission and bringing down our cost basis to around $24 to $25, right? So, I mean, we were slightly different. I think you're around 25 something, I'm at 24 something. So we will see what happens there. Yesterday, it seems that CSIQ found some support at the 15 mark. This morning, slightly up. I mean, it was up a little bit more. So we'll see what happens here over the next few days.
Yeah, I like the idea of bringing down my cost basis just under $25 a share. I know that's still a pretty big jump, but I'm optimistic on a shift in interest rates and cuts starting to take place. That could help CSIQ. I love the 1550 with the premium that I got. I collected 50 cents. So in essence, that would be the equivalent of owning shares at 15, right? If you factor in that premium collected, but um, it could be that that 1550 expires worthless, and I can do that a couple of times, bring down my break even. So it was available. We took advantage of it, and we'll see where we end up Friday.
Yeah, so I got 40 cents. You were a little bit more patient. You waited for the 50 cents. But yeah, let's wait and see what happens on Friday there. Halliburton, a stock that we got assigned at 34.50, and we were selling calls against it at 34.50. Yesterday, it was looking really good that we might get called away on half of our position. Now, for the other half of our position, you were planning to sell calls at 36. I'm planning to sell calls at 36.50. Today, we see a little bit of a retracement, and this has something to do with crude oil, of course.
Yeah, crude oil kind of diddling today, and yesterday it started higher, pulled back a little bit. I still really like our entry point at 34.50 in Halliburton. Just looking to see if we can break back into that previous range where that 36 plus zone looks attractive. But in the meantime, selling calls and doing exactly what we want with the wheel.
Yeah, perfect. And then we have IWM. So IWM, we got assigned at 202. We sold calls against our existing position. Today with the pullback, I was trying to buy back the calls that I sold. Are you doing the same thing?
Yes, I have a 90% exit order ready right now. It looks like it's at 77% of the max profit. So I'll look to get out at 90% today or tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see where we're at on Friday.
Yeah. So this is looking good, or doing exactly what we wanted to do. And then UPS getting a little bit of sympathy from FedEx. I mean, UPS this morning up 2.2% after FedEx is up almost 15%. Now, this is why is UPS not following here? Why is it not rallying like at least 5 or 10%? Well, it has something to do with what FedEx said. I mean, they said, you know what? Our revenue was in line with expectations, our profitability was in line with expectations, and we as FedEx did something special. We did put in place some cost-cutting measures, and it looks that they're panning out. But this is where, if FedEx would have said, "Oh my gosh, our revenue went through the roof, 50% more than expected," or our profits went through the roof, 30% more than expected, then UPS would see a little bit more of a follow-through. But here, since this was very specific to FedEx, no real follow-through on UPS. But hey, up 2.2%, I'll take it.
Yeah, and getting higher in this range. Another thing too, I believe that FedEx announced a stock buyback that they're going through. So that's
Oh,
another thing that is stock specific that will help the stock, but not necessarily carry over into a competitor.
yeah. All right, hopping over to our WTF trades. So where are we here? Let me just an exit. Moderna, you got out of Moderna this morning. So how did it turn out?
Yeah, small loss on this one.
Yeah.
Small loss. It had a decent comeback, but ended up being a small loss. You passing on this one ended up being a good thing. Glad I followed the plan, which I always do. But had you not followed the plan, Moderna took a pretty, steep drop during the trading session.
Yeah, so good that you got out in the open as we suggest here. I mean, Powerex Optimizer said sell to close at market open. Right now, it would be much worse because it has been falling another, 4% after the open. So definitely, definitely good. And then we have a new signal. And the new signal, Pin Duo Duo. Now, recently we passed on a signal, and the signal that we passed on was PM Philip Morris, which turned out to be a nice winning trade. So, what did we do here?
PDD, I got in it. I traded it, and I was filled at 139.70, and we'll see how this one goes. But
Yep.
valid entry, looking good.
Same here. I got filled at 139.70. So right now trading slightly below our entry, but yeah, this is looking good. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll keep you posted of what's happening here over the next few days. Now, we'll go back and see what's happening in the market. It is time for our joke of the day. And over the last few days, we were racing to the bottom. Okay, come on, Mark. You gotta help us out here today, because okay, I might even not tell my joke. What is the best one? You go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. I might have you this time, Marcus. What do you call a bunch of old men clapping? Men applause.
Okay. Okay. All right. But what do you call a cult that's hard to get into?
What?
Difficult.
Okay, another race to the bottom.
Another race to the bottom. We're trying here. We're trying here. Okay. So let's see what's happening. This morning we were opening lower. Yeah, go ahead.
No, they'll get better.
Yeah, it'll get better. Okay, so this morning we opened lower, pushed higher, filled the gap. After filling the gap, pushing lower, trying to fill a gap again. Right now we are back to where we were at the open. We're diddling around because, the GDP and the employment numbers tomorrow might give the market some pause today. And then also we have, on Friday, the PCE index. So lots of things going on in the markets, and apparently the markets are diddling around, giving us some time to find some better jokes for you.
Yes.
All right. With that said, hey, we hope that you enjoyed today's show. If you did, do us a favor and give us a like. We appreciate all of the likes. And if you find that this was information worth sharing, there's a share button right underneath. Please share it. It would help us. And if this is your first time here, click on subscribe, because we'll be back again tomorrow. So until then, have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.